Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is a review of GUMAA, the beginning of Her, number 3 from Titan Comics. But before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we would love to have you follow along. Before we get started, let's talk about the credits. This is pretty simple. The concept, script, art, layout, and everything else is pretty much done by Ji-Hyung Lee, superstar artists, with the exception of pencils and inks by Nabetsi Zitro. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So first impressions, this is it. This is the issue. We got a peek of Khalida in her powered up form as the goddess of the city briefly in the beginning of issue number 1. Issue number 3 is where that finally comes together with a lot of that background and development and character pushing that happens in between. So if you liked the first issue and you thought there was a lot of intrigue and a lot of interesting things that are happening and you wanted to see where it goes, but you felt that issue 2 was kind of like taking a little bit too much time and didn't really seem to kind of be doing a whole heck of a lot, issue number 3 is where it comes together. So if you've been waiting for the big gut punch to bring it to life and to have Khalida assume her role as the goddess of the city and make good use of that power, this is the one you've been waiting for, and Ji-Hyung Lee pays it off spectacularly. So where did we leave off in the last issue? And so in the last issue, Khalida took the money that she'd been saving up from her status as a drugged out prostitute in the Luciel cartel's safe house or gambling house or headquarters, if you want to call it that. Miguel tried to double cross her for the sake of getting Behemoth's daughter back. It didn't work out, and she just went nuts, and there was shooting and violence, and eventually Khalida just made a break for it. She ran out of that building and wound up falling into the nearby river and presumably died. Maybe not. Of course not, because the series has to continue, and that's where we left off. This time, what happened is Khalida washes up on a nearby beach or a nearby shawl, if you will, and she encounters a temple. And at the front of that temple, she finds a pedestal where on that pedestal is a robe and a mystical glowing knife. She did not quite know what to do with it, but she's exhausted, weary. Her face has been slashed. She's freezing, and basically passes out at the foot of the pedestal, almost in a symbolic offering of herself into whatever mystical power brought her to that place. When she finds the dagger, she assumes it just sort of transports her mentally, emotionally, spiritually to suddenly deal with all the men coming from the Luciel cartel's headquarters to try and capture her and bring her back. And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, she's just standing there with the dagger. Her eyes have changed. She seems to be glowing with power, and all those men are now dead. So if you were kind of wondering how quick does that transformation into what she was into what she will be happen, it literally happens in a blink of an eye, and it looks great. It's very dramatic. It's very well presented. So what did we like about GUMAA, the beginning of Her, number 3? Pretty much everything. I mean, Khalida doesn't just sort of become this all uber powerful person that's going to stand at the doorway of a massive temple built in honor of some higher power, and it just easily, or with the gift of some special object or something just out of hand. She goes through a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of trauma to get to that point. So by the time she gets the dagger and gets the robe and becomes this sort of goddess type nun priest, you feel like she's really earned it and she deserves it, and not necessarily in a rah-rah get him sort of way, but just a kind of a heck yeah, watch out bad guys, because she's about to get her revenge and you deserve every ounce of pain that comes with it. So really well done, looks fantastic. It's dramatic from start to finish, and you get kind of like not a fist pump kind of feeling when she goes back to the Luciel headquarters, which she does to make a deal that was kind of surprising. So that really makes the story interesting. But at the very least, you feel there's a level of satisfaction in what it turns out, how it turns out for her. What didn't we like about the issue? Honestly, not much. I mean, this was if you felt issue number 2 was really slow and kind of taking a little bit too much time getting to where it needed to go, issue number 3 is the big payoff, and the payoff really sticks. Ji Hong Lee really stuck the landing on this one, and made it work. So, quick word about the art. I mean, if you're kind of up and down about the story because you're not quite sure where it's going, I fully get it. But really, the art is the big selling point on this. I mean, the artist just looks fantastic. So, if you're kind of on the fence about the story, I mean, just the visuals on this are just they're mystical, but they're gritty in an urban sort of way, and there's a lot of power and deep, like uh, earthy drama that just comes from the depths of Khalida's soul. And you feel every slash, you feel every punch, you feel every stab, you feel every gunshot. And there's a lot of gunshots and a lot of stabbing in this issue. So if you're kind of wondering about violence, there's plenty of it in this issue. So this is fantastic art. I mean, just really top notch stuff. So, final comments. What do we think about GUMAA, the beginning of her, number 3 from Titan Comics and Ji Hong Lee? This was the payoff issue that makes the first two issues worth it. Um, Lots of drama, lots of cool wow moments, lots of big and at least one or two twists or surprises that you won't see coming. You think she's just going to go back to the Luciel cartel's headquarters and lay waste. She kind of does, but doesn't. There's a twist in there that you won't expect, and so it even makes it surprising and intriguing for what's going to happen next. So, which we're really looking forward to it. Therefore, we're going to give GUMAA, the beginning of her, number 3 from Titan Comics, a solid 9 out of 10. We hope you enjoyed this review, but before you leave, please like, share, comment, subscribe to Comical Opinions, and follow along for more reviews and analysis every single week.